Hello and welcome to another Star Wars The Old Republic video. So Legacy of the Sith is coming out really soon, December 14th, the next expansion. I wanted to share with you some ways that you can make some money, beef up on those supplies that you're going to need if you're going to be subscribing for the first time so you can get those legacy unlocks or buy other things that are over 1,000,000 credits, or just in general to make sure you have sufficient funds to get you going with some of the new unknown systems that are going to be in the game and make it easier. So obviously making credits is always something that's important to players. And yeah, let's go through some of the great tips that I've got on how to make a lot of money pretty fast in the game. So as always, thank you everybody for your support, your subscriptions, your views, all of that kind of stuff, likes, whatever you want to do, always appreciated. So the first thing I want to talk about, there's kind of two different ways that I look at making money in the game. So there's either directly making money from the game itself, or making money through other players via selling and trading stuff. So let's start off with how do you make money directly from the game. So how you make money directly from the game, you want to start off with things like the actual rewards that you get from missions whenever you complete them, or objectives. So currently in 6.0 you can make money from conquest objectives, from doing heroics, other missions, stuff like that. And then you can also make money from picking up money off of the looted bodies. And a really big source of income as well is the gear that you get when you're already at 306 item ratings. So when you're at a bit of a lower item rating, you're not going to make as much off of the gear you pick up, but picking up gear can definitely be a good source of income. The credits themselves, so when you're doing stuff that rewards you your 306 level gear or 300 and above, your legendary gold gear, you're going to be getting a fair chunk of money from that. So the ways that I would suggest looking at making money, there's a couple different things when you want to make it directly from the game. So in 7.0, they're going to remove a lot of credits from Conquest rewards, and sounds like it might be a little harder to make money off Conquest, hard to say, but right now Conquest is a pretty good source of income. So getting the Conquest objectives is a small amount of credits each time. For an individual player, it's not going to add up to tons of credits, but basically, if you're playing content that aligns with your other goals of already making money and with the conquest bonus, it works. So when you look at doing the heroic missions, you can choose to do heroic missions on different planets and get the conquest objective for completing on each planet. So instead of doing all the heroics just on one planet, to put that in context of the context rewards, just to boost your income level a little bit more. Of course, when you do complete your personal conquest and being part of a guild at the reset, you're going to get the guild conquest. Then you're going to get the credit tokens as well. Again, this is something that's going to be changing with 7.0, so there's going to be less credits available. And it's something that you'll want to plan accordingly for not seeing Conquest quite as the same source of revenue of direct credits from the game. It's still going to be a source of revenue, don't worry about that. Now, the problem with heroics is the gear you get isn't very good, so you're not going to be getting money from the gear to sell. So it's a bit of a decision on what content you like playing. But a really good alternative option is to play things like flashpoints that are really fast to grind through and give you that gold level gear. Because that gear sells for a lot. Any individual pieces like enhancements, mods, armorings, they're not going to sell for a ton of credits. You're going to get some credits out of them, but you're really going to make your money off of the whole piece. So like a chest piece, boots, gloves, stuff like that. Those sell for a lot to the vendor. When I used to spend a little bit of time selling my gear off of flashpoints, easily make over 100,000 credits per run, usually like 120 to 160. But you don't want to sell all your gear, because when we start talking about the next segment, you're going to see why. Those are the main sources I would suggest looking at for getting gear, is either doing content to grind up that 300 plus gear, the gold legendary gear, to sell to the vendor, or running heroics. And so you can easily make over 1,000,000 credits in a couple hours of gameplay. And if you're kind of an efficient speedrunner type player, you could even bring that down to easily making 1,000,000 credits per hour. Now, the real lucrative part is making money off of other players. If you take a whole bunch of players who make credits in the game and you're able to get a little bit of money from each of them, it's going to be way more time efficient. So you can go get things that they don't want to be bothered to go get. A lot of these are crafting materials. Now, there's a lot of crafting stuff you can do. There's tons of money to be made. There's people who craft augments and gear for levels that are not level 75 endgame gear. So as people level up and go through, level 40, 47, 50 something, there's definitely a market for people who want to buy that gear as they level up their characters, hop on the GTN and say, yeah, I want to have the best gear I can have at this level. So there's a source of income for some people. It's not my preferred method. It's a lot more work than I like doing, but maybe it's what you like doing. You know, there's other consumables that people want to have, the augments, stuff like that. So yeah, you can craft stuff. Realistically though, I have found in the past, whenever I've looked at it, you make more money selling your crafting materials than you actually do with the crafting itself. So yeah, skip all the extra work and just go grab crafting materials and sell them. Pretty safe bet if you go to Mechshaw or Onderon, that's where all the grade 11 nodes are, that you're going to make money off of harvesting those nodes if you can collect resources from grade 11. So if you're 600 skill points or higher in that gathering skill, you should be able to pick up some materials, and then you can head around and sell those on the GTN to other players and make some pretty nice money. Almost all gathering skills make money. There are some that don't, so it is worth just taking a quick boo on GTN, seeing if people are actually selling that stuff for a reasonable amount. I usually can't be bothered to sell crafting materials that their unit cost is less than 500 credits per unit. To me, it's just not time efficient. But if you're a player who doesn't have as much money, it might be worth it. Crafting materials, great way to make money. Now, we were talking about Conquest earlier too. There are some crafting materials as well as some materials used for guild ships that are very valuable that come out of Conquest. So the Conquest rewards you get from being part of a guild and meeting your personal conquest and the guild completing that invasion target, those are some very valuable materials that you can either donate to your guild, or if you're really stuck hard on cash, or you don't have a guild that cares about getting that kind of stuff from you, then sure, go ahead, sell it, make some money off of it. Great source of income. I've used it a lot to make money as well. Some of that stuff is definitely not going away with 7.0, so Conquest will still be a great way to make some additional credits. So some players do like to play the GTN. I'm not going to get into that because that is a fairly complex topic, and it's really something that you do if you love doing it, not something that's a great way to just make money while playing the game. Keeping track of prices, seeing what's worth a lot, what's not, and buying, trading, finding those details. If you love it, go ahead, look into that. Just know that you really are going to have to create your own spreadsheet to keep track of prices, know what's a good deal and what's not if you want to play the GTN to make money. And there's definitely opportunities there to sit on the GTN. Moving on, as I said I would. The other big thing is what you're doing with deconstructing your gear. So this is where it's important that when you're earning that high level gear that you don't necessarily sell everything to the vendor. So your armorings, your enhancements, your mods, your hilts, the individual components, those are better off deconstructing. So you can get a pretty good value if you're getting, around 20,000 to sell a piece of armor to a vendor. Go ahead, sell it. I think it's worth more at that point. But the other pieces, you want to deconstruct those because they're going to give you tech frags and they give you a chance of getting a legendary ember. Legendary embers are crafting materials. Great thing to sell to other players to make a lot of money, and you can get a lot of them by running through content that gives you a lot of gear and deconstructing that gear. I still think it's a slightly better payoff to sell the actual whole pieces if you really want to be picky about it. But otherwise, yeah, deconstructing gear is better than selling it to the vendor, especially for the components. Get the chance at the legendary embers and then turn around and sell your legendary embers for a nice profit. And that really makes it very profitable to run content that gives you that legendary gear, that 300 plus gear, rather than just running heroics, which aren't going to give you very good gear. So yeah, selling to players, better way to make money than trying to get it straight from the game itself. And basically, if you speedrun flashpoints and you get good gear, there you go. You're making tons of money by getting those legendary embers, selling them, and then you can also sell the more expensive pieces that drop with the gear, anything that's close to that 20,000 credits. And then the tech frags themselves are going to add up pretty fast. So the tech frags themselves are worth a lot because they've added the feature to either A, buy legendary embers with tech frags, which is not even worth it. Don't go there. It's a trap. Don't do it. More importantly is you've got the quest to be able to go and trade in 10,000 tech frags to be able to get an OEM and RPM that's able to craft the highest level of gold augments. Those are still selling for a ton of money. Of course, there's going to be some GTN tax if you sell it on the GTN, so either be in a guild that has tax evasion or find players who want to buy it straight off you at a little bit of a discount compared to GTN and avoiding that tax. But either way, 10k tech frags and suddenly you're getting minimum 32 million credits after tax off another player, and potentially even 40 million credits after tax, or by trading without having that GTN tax. So at the end of the day, the fastest, best way to just mindlessly grind out and do some content is to do content that earns you tech frags and gear at a very fast rate. So if you go on and you have multiple accounts and you play Taboro's Courtyard with the group finder on every single account, you get around 700 tech frags per run of Taboro's Courtyard. As long as it's the first time that character has done it in the day, you get that group finder bonus. And you also get gear, and it's super fast, especially when you get on and there's a whole bunch of people doing the exact same thing. You'll find that as soon as you finish, you form up a new group within a couple minutes. The actual operation takes almost no time at all, less than 10 minutes, sometimes even less than 5 if your group's really efficient. So you just start rolling in tons of tech frags. You have gear to deconstruct for legendary embers and more tech frags, and you can even sell some of it to a vendor. That is an amazing way to make credits. That is hands down one of the best, is get those 10,000 tech frags, sell the OEM RPM, sell your legendary embers, sell the gear that's worth a lot more than deconstructing it, and then profit immensely. Some of the things, if you start having too many players trying to do it at once, the price drops, and this video is not very helpful. So I want to stick with the stuff that I know is going to be helpful and maintain value for players as they go and farm this. And we're not going to see a whole bunch of people suddenly saying, oh, your method now is because too many players are choosing to do this one method. If you do find that there is a crash on the price of OEM, RPMs, Legendary Ember, stuff like that, you're still going to make some pretty good money just by selling gear to the vendor, just by completing those heroics, doing those missions and stuff. You know, it seems like the flagship parts are never going out of style. So hopefully you guys like this video. Hopefully this is really going to help you guys make that extra credit that you've been wondering, how the hell do people get so rich? Realistically, if you spend a week working on this and you don't do anything else and you spend like 20 hours playing in a week, you're going to end up with a crazy amount of credits, and you'll be shocked if you're not used to having over 100 million credits, just how easy it was to get to 100 million. Trust me on that one. I'm pretty shocked whenever I take the time to go away from the content I usually do and make a little bit of money. I'm like, holy crap, I just made 400 mil in the last 2 weeks. One last thing again is I have a previous video out about things you should do to prepare for Star Wars 7.0 release on December 14th, and I'm also going to be giving away some free subscription time. So go check out that video to see how I'm giving away some free subscription time as a thank you to somebody who subscribed to my channel. And yeah, also learn some things you can do to prepare for 7.0 in addition to grinding out some credits. Thank you very much again. Have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video.